Alright guys, so now it's time to start going over how to actually read and write Japanese. So we're going to start, like I said, with the most basic writing style, which is hiragana. Hiragana, right? And so from the last video, we learned how to actually pronounce the basic sounds of Japanese. Remember the base sounds being a, I, u, e, o. And those a, I, u, e, o sounds all have their own characters. So let's start with going over those five base sounds. Ready? So, and I'll put it on the screen here too, but ah is going to look like this. Okay? Ah. This is ah. Okay? And I think the best way to memorize hiragana, I think the first thing you should do is get yourself a hiragana chart. And then, you know, just start memorizing like you would memorize anything else. Quiz yourself on it, make flashcards. But also use mnemonics. Mnemonics were very, very helpful for me when I was starting out. As silly as they can be, they really do help you remember certain things that are tough, and especially the ones that are very similar. So for example, let's take the first character, ah. So this is ah. And there's two ways that I like to remember this one. So the first one is, if you imagine this being a cross, right? Because this looks like a cross. And so this is kind of dark, and I'm a Christian, but I'm just warning you, it's kind of dark. Jesus said, ah, as he was put on the cross. Okay? So kind of think of this as the image of like Jesus being put on the cross, and ah, as he was put on the cross. Okay? Another one, if you don't feel comfortable with that one, might be ah, the kid ran around the tree and screamed ah as he ran around. Okay? Again, you just want to have something in your brain to connect these parts of this character to your memory. That's what you want, okay? Then for E, okay, so for E, maybe let's try this. E. For E, okay, two eels swimming up a stream. Two eels, eels swimming up a stream, right? And so for E, think of someone's exercising, right? Oh, we're exercising. And this one, I don't know, the stroke order. So that's the thing. You guys might want to look into stroke orders. A lot of the charts actually have little arrows showing the stroke orders. To be honest, I mean, because even our alphabet, even the Roman alphabet does have like technical like stroke orders that you should do. But just write how it's comfortable for you. And the stroke orders are nice to know. So for example, for E, it's right like boop, boop. Right? Knowing where to put your pen down and pick it up, it's useful, but again, you kind of write it in a way that's comfortable for you. If you're really interested in it, you can look it up, and like I said, a lot of the charts online, I mean, there's tons of charts online that have arrows showing the stroke orders and stuff. And then, yeah, so just go through a, I, u, e, o, and then we have the next one being ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. And so I did want to talk about this. So here we have ka. Remember how I told you the K line is also the G line? So how do we turn this ka into ga? Very simple. We just add two little tick marks. Ka becomes ga. All right, it's really that simple. And then ki, because remember this is ki, becomes gi. And by the way, there are little variants, like, you know, some people are going to write ki like this, like this, but there are, you can write it how you want, you know, not obviously completely free, but when you're handwriting, there are different ways to write it, so look into that if you want. The same thing, when you're starting out, you might want to write, you know, just by the chart, but as you go on, you can kind of write it in a way that's comfortable for you. The most important thing is being able to recognize it when you see it, all right? So, like I said, so that ka line is going to get these little tick marks. These little tick marks. You'll see the characters here, the little tick marks are there. To change it from the K to the G sound. So ka, ki, ku, ke, ko becomes ga, gi, gu, ge, go, okay? And so we also have the S line, as I mentioned. It's so hard to write like this, but let's try. Sa. So sa, when you put the tick marks, it turns into za, right? Za. And like I said, you're going to want to kind of think of your own little mnemonics. And if you have some ideas for mnemonics, please post them in the comments. Help us out. By the way, if you don't know how to type in Japanese, just Google like how to add a Japanese keyboard. You can type on any keyboard using the romaji, what we learned earlier. So yeah, definitely let us know your mnemonics below. That will really help everyone out. And so it's za, ji, zu, ze, zo. Because remember, we have this guy. There is no C, right? We have no C. We have she. And this is going to be she. Okay, this is she. And when we put these guys here, it becomes not Z. No, it doesn't become Z. It becomes, weirdly enough, it starts to look like a little bit like a reverse J. G becomes G. J-I being G. Okay? And so we also have our T category. So ta turns into da just fine. And then you can see that chi, remember I said this is not T. This is chi. Let me write this in C-H-I. This is chi, okay? Kind of looks like a reverse sa, but this is chi. And again, don't even really worry about this. I mean, this is kind of like old Japanese. You'll see it around here and there, but you just pronounce this just like G. It's pronounced like this. Okay, it's the same thing. Now, in old Japanese, we're talking Heian period, they were distinct and they had different pronunciations, or so that's said. We're not 100% sure historically. But for all intents and purposes, this is pronounced G. So this is G, but you really won't see it that much. If you ever want to write a G, use this one. Use this one. Okay. What else do we have? There's one other variant in this one being tsu. So remember I told you guys it's not tu, it's tsu. T-S-U, like you're blowing a little wind out. Not tsu, but it's tsu, right? This guy. And when this guy technically, just like chi, can have these little tick marks, tens, but you don't see it very often, and it's like old Japanese. It used to be a different sound, but now this just equals zu, basically. This equals zu, okay? So don't even worry about it when you have the tick marks. Just use this. So don't even really worry about that. This is going to be tsu, okay? What else? I kind of want to go over the special ones. Oh, okay, yeah. So now we get into the ha category. And ha is going to also be, because remember we have ha. And thankfully, these are pretty straightforward. It's going to turn also into ba, like I said. Oh, but here's another one. And I don't think I mentioned this in my Romaji video. But this also turns to pa. Ready? So this is ha. This is ba. Okay. And this is pa. Ha, ba, pa. So instead of tick marks, we have this little circle. We have a tiny circle. So if it's tick marks with a ha, it's ba. If it's a little circle with the ha, it's pa. Okay? And so for the exception, for the reigai one, for the H, do you guys remember what it was? Ha, hi, hu. Very good. Hu. So this hu is not, it's not hu. No. It turns into a light F sound. Remember? So hu, we're going to write that like this. And again, there's multiple ways to write this. You can write it like this, or I like to write mine like this. I think some people also write it like this, like, what is it, like something like this. There's multiple different ways. I don't know what the most recommended way is. I like to just use this 3 and then like that. It's super easy. But again, you might want to just stick to the traditional stroke order if you really want to, but there's a little bit of freedom there. So we have fu here. Thankfully, when this has the tick marks, this just turns into bu. This is bu, okay? And then this guy, it's kind of big. This guy's pu. Fu, bu, pu, okay? So that would be the exception in the H category. So the H is special because you have the H sound or the F sound if it's u, but basically you have like, right, H, but you also get the B and the P in there. It's the only category that has that little circle at the top, okay? Also remember, like I said, the na and the ma category do not have any tick marks or any special whatever. Those just stay ma or na or whatever. Mami, mume, mo, nani, nune, no. Okay, those stay as they are. They don't change. No variance there. So try and look over those charts on your own. And now I want to kind of tell you guys what these ya, you, and yo do. So remember our ya, you, and yo. Remember our ya, you, yo. So basically, these guys, they do have their standalone characters. Ya, you, yo. Okay, ya, you, yo. However, these are often paired with other characters. But they're not paired with just any character. They're paired with the E category of other sounds. And not the bass sounds, right? So you can't use them with I, E, U, A, O. You can use them with, basically, you can use them with ki. What else we got? Ki, shi, chi, because that's the T. Ni, he, mi, and ri. Okay, so the E category of any of these sounds. And you can make this guy small and to the right. So it's a little small, it's about half the size there. That turns into a kya, okay? And this turns into sha. So it's not shia, it's sha. They become one sound, okay? Same with this kya. So if I would write this in Romaji, I would write it like this. Kya or sha, as you can see here. Kya or sha. We're not writing it like shi ya or ki ya. We're connecting them. We're making them one sound. And then if we continue to the chi category, what would that be, guys? That's right, cha. Do the cha-cha slide for me, yo. Okay, don't tell anyone I ever said that. Okay, so this is going to be, if I write this in Romaji, it's going to look like this, cha. Okay? And you can do this for all these other ones as well. So, Q, shu, chu, kyo, sho, cho, right? So you can do this for any of these guys. Any of these guys. You can do this all along for these 3 characters. Okay, so if you look at any chart, they should probably you'll be able to visualize this. But yeah, that's what those are for. By the way, did you know you could also make even more sounds by making this? Well, this one we're not really going to see so much, but by putting these 10/10s here. For this one, you won't really see it so much, but like even like like this, right? So kya can turn into gya. Sha can turn into ja. All right? So, for example, we have hya. If we put the little tick marks on here, this turns into bia. Sorry, it's so hard to write like this. Bia. Or we have the P here. Sorry, I should probably write this neater, but this turns into pia. However, just so you guys know, you can write, if they're the same size like this, it'd be pia, right? Or shi, for example, shio. But if this guy is small, it becomes sho. This is shio, right? This is shio. This is sho. This is gya. Because they're small and connected. They become one sound. So pia, pia. So yeah, you'll kind of see if you look at any chart, they're kind of small in that. But remember, these are used with the E categories. And then also, let's make sure we don't forget our little buddy, our little buddies, our little other little Ray guys. Ray guy no yatsu. Okay. Now, remember how I told you guys there's the N sound. Here it is, and it kind of looks like an N in English almost. I mean, kind of like an H/N, but it's n. And this has no variations. That's just what it is. Just n. And remember, I also said we have wo. This is what wo is. This guy. However, we're not ever going to pronounce this as wo, really. I mean, I guess you could. It's not going to be like, oh, what is he saying? What is he or she saying? No, it's going to be understandable. But really, this W is going to be silent, and we're just going to pronounce this as O. And it's a particle, by the way. It's always a particle. Meaning it's not in words. It's used to connect words within a sentence. So O. But when you look it up in a chart, it's going to say wo. But just know it's pronounced O. It's pronounced the same as our O here. Hatsuon pronunciation is the same thing. Okay? Okay, so I think that about covers it. And as far as katakana, the way it's structured is going to be identical to hiragana. It's just that the characters are different. But let me go over. I'll make another video going over some specific katakana notes that you guys should know. But anyways, hope this was useful to you. Make sure, like I said, if you have any mnemonic, cool mnemonic devices that you use to remember these, post them down below for all of us to see, because that could really help everyone out. Yeah, and again, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video. I'm going to keep doing these, and then when we're done learning the actual alphabets, we'll get into actually studying genki. So we'll get into grammar, and we'll actually learn how to use Japanese. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.